I'm looking at GOG right now, seeing if anything's on sale.
Nice. He's looking for video games, guys. He's looking for more games on his PC.
I'm not gonna buy anything unless there's like something like super awesome, but
I don't think there is.
I just like to check every now and then.
But we're gonna start it off right now. We're gonna be live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Tight Spots Lounge. Yes, we're doing it early. For some miracle, Mr. Nakattack here has an off day, and he's like, you know what? Let's go. Let's do this. See this podcast right now. Let's get it done. Let's get it out of the way so he can do other things which he got accomplished. Like he accomplished his air conditioner he wanted to fix. He got it all done and ready for the new season since it's summer. Doing
a lot of dad stuff today. I
Dad.
got groceries, I returned books to the library.
Oh,
I cleaned my outside air conditioner.
yep. He is a dad.
I'm gonna replace the pop-up thing on my kitchen, my bathroom sink, because I'm sick and tired of cleaning out the hair drain. So I'm gonna get one of them. It's a lot easier.
I love it.
I currently have one with the little plunger, but I'm getting one that's just a push.
We're going in depth of what he's doing to make his house better. I love it.
Yes, my day off. My day off.
At home with Nakattack.
I gotta dust that pan up there.
At home with Nakattack, the chronicles of the one and the only. But yeah, welcome to a great episode, guys. We have a movie to talk about that we watched, and we have so much more to talk about. Big news today. If you guys haven't seen, I'll talk about it later on in my gaming stream when we're gonna play some more college football. But the full reveal, everything that's been announced for the college football game that's coming out now on July 19th, early access for July 16th. You can see all the news and stuff on the websites. And honestly, it looks like 14, but the capabilities of what you can do in the year 2024, because the servers have been down for EA, NCAA 14 for a long time. But the new game comes out, we can have a 32-team dynasty and so much more to work life together on content there. But we're not here to also celebrate that. We're also here to celebrate a release of an album that I know my boy Nakattack is excited about. Have you listened to it yet, Nakattack?
I did the play all on the Bandcamp page while I was doing budget stuff earlier, more dad stuff, and I was liking the tunes I hadn't heard yet. It's a solid album.
Nice. And we are talking about the band Telltale for anyone who doesn't know. I know we mentioned them a lot in past episodes, but I haven't listened to it yet. I know I have to take a glance at it when I can, maybe off stream. Later
I saw a new Starset song earlier today too.
So
there's a lot of good stuff coming out.
New Starset today too. Let me look at my hold on.
Brave New World.
Oh yeah, I think I heard that. I think I listened to it. I think I saw that. Release radar. Let's see. We have the Nothing More new song with Damon Draymond called Angel Song. We got a Childish Gambino song.
Nothing More is hit or miss with me. I like some of their stuff, but not all of it.
Okay. Islander has a new song. Mest and Iceland Kills has a new song together. Crossfaith has a one with Orgasm, which is crazy. MC Lars has a new song out with Cowboy Coder. Thomas Nicholas band has a new song out with Bowling for Soup. Thomas E. Nicholson played Harry Ronegarter and Kevin in American Pie, and then also Harry Ronegarter in Rookie of the Year for anyone who doesn't remember him. Palais Royale has a new song. The Used has a new song called Meds. Okay, all right. A lot of good stuff came out. A lot of good stuff. We will have to check out that Stars That song too. I don't know if I've heard that or yet. I think I may have, but I'm not sure. But I listen to the radio, so the radio plays it sometimes.
I think Brothers of Metal may be releasing a new album this year. They teased that they were listening to some of their new remix tracks on the Facebook post they made.
Brothers
I'm not on Facebook. I just check Brothers of Metal every now and then, and that's just where they have news.
Brothers of Metal. They haven't had an album since they haven't singles since 2022. The Other Side of Odin. But they are a Viking metal band.
They are touring all the time, so I don't know how they found time to get in the studio and make some new stuff, but I'm glad they teased it's coming.
I haven't seen them live, but maybe one day Nakattack and I will go to a show again. It's been years, but
oh, dude, their Endless Saga album, that's like a top 5 metal album. That thing's incredible.
Well, they're all over. Okay, so they're going to be touring the UK and all that, in Germany and Vienna, Austria, and Hungary, and Prague, and Krakow, and Poland. Later this year with a band called Grell Knights. Have you heard of them, Nakattack? Have you heard of them?
No, I'm not familiar with them.
Me neither. Maybe we'll have to look at them up later as well. Sorry, I'm looking up information as we go along as well. That's why I have my phone out, not typing at the computer, so you don't hear me click, click, click on the keys. But yeah, that's awesome. Great new music to check out, guys. It's Great Friday, as always. Music always comes out. It may not be our cup of tea sometimes, but take our opinions lightly. I mean, honestly, we've been loving music for most of our lives because that's what makes the world goes around. So Nakattack, let's get down and dirty into this movie that we picked. Well, I didn't pick. Nakattack picked, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was a solid pick. I didn't know what it was about. If it was like a true story or if it was a comedy or what. But in the end, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie that we watched, which was called Pinball: The Man Who Saved the Game. So Nakattack, let's delve into it. Where do you want to start? What's some of the stuff that you found about this movie that you enjoyed or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a docu-comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think basically the concept is that takes place in the 1970s. Pinball was banned in a lot of major cities at the time because everyone considered them, well, at least the law considered them to be gambling machines.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I think I heard this fact before, but it just kind of like left my head. Because it's just like one of them random things here. And
yeah, it wasn't really one thing we focused in grade school or any of that, like history of the world of stuff like that in our small town. We never really knew that was a thing, the gambling issue. Because honestly, I remember going to, the Hanover Home Association. They would have a pinball machine there, or like the video arcade would have those. Or even this Magic Elm had the pinball machine where you won baseball cards, which was always a great time, winning random baseball cards of random players from that era. But I always thoroughly enjoyed the game of pinball. I didn't know it was illegal back in the 70s because of the supposed mob running the game and all that, like you said. But
I think they said it was originally banned in the 30s or something.
Yeah, it was banned in the 30s. So it was like a 40-year-old law that never got changed, and that's crazy. I mean, honestly, who would have thought for that long? And I know there's like the MAAA they mentioned in the movie, try to battle it out, multiple times. But why did it take so long for something that was a stupid thing to even put in place in first place? Because honestly, people were gambling wherever they were gambling. People had friendly wagers with people back then. You never really you wager on friendly games like, oh, who scores first, or whatever. It's always been there. Gambling can be for free or it could be for money, or it could be for something else. But you know, it's always been there. But also the legalities of like pinball, because it's a game of chance. It's a game of not.
No, it is not, sir.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's a game
It's a game of skill, and I will prove it in the courtroom.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm trying to say, I'm sorry. Game of skill, because it's not a game of chance, because it's not predetermined the outcome. A game of chance is not a game of skill, because you can't be skilled at chance.
It's a game of chance much the same way that poker is.
Yeah.
Whereas there is a chance that you can get some really shit like angles on a ball, and it'll just like shoot straight down the middle, and your plungers have no way of catching it.
Yeah, you do. But your chance, your skill, it's because of your skill, because you're the plunger, and the strength of the pull. You know how much weight you actually are pulling down, maybe on the handle, or how straightforward you go with it. Because like when you pull it straight back, or if you like bent it a little, like when you're like pressing down on the springs or whatever. I mean, it's all skill too. Like it's kind of like pull. You got to have skill to angle the shots into the hole, you know, and you gotta hold the.
You know, a little bit on a side tangent here, just to wrap up the plot. So it's about this guy Roger Sharp who.
Sorry, that's how the movie was too.
He kind of he originally just wanted to write a book about pinball,
Mm-hmm.
and then he kind of stumbled into a court case that could potentially re-legalize it,
Mm-hmm.
and then he kind of became the hero of the court case, and actually helped get the game to be legalized again.
Yeah, and now we have pinball machines everywhere, and then we have the history of the Pinball Hall of Fame down here in Vegas, which I haven't been to, and I would love to. And I know Nakattack and I would be like children in a candy shop with those games for sure. Like, you know, he probably would pick like the Terminator one, or I don't know. What would be your go-to pinball?
Yeah, let's get into it, because honestly, I kind of hate retro pinball machines.
Okay.
I think they're just so plain, and there's like not much going on. Like the ones they showed in this movie were like they're just so simple, but stuff that was like starting to be made in the 90s to present is amazing. Like I think one of my favorite pinball machines is what's the one I played? The Twilight Zone one. I don't know if I played that one, but that one is insane. There's also a NASCAR one.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It's actually really cool. When you do the plunger, the ball like does a lap completely around before it shoots out, which is thematic with NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of the modern ones are really awesome.
Yeah, I remember those two. The Twilight Zone, I think the Twilight Zone mini golf, which is at Horseshoe, which is formerly known as Bally's, has a pinball machine there of the Twilight Zone, which is pretty cool. So I think I've seen it.
Oh, the Lord of the Rings one is also really cool.
Okay, yeah, I remember seeing that somewhere too.
It has like a little Balrog inside of it that you can attack during certain modes.
Yeah. There's so many. Like,
Balrog is that fire monster for all you non-nerds out there.
All the non-nerds, which is a lot of people that are probably here hanging out. Which, you know, it happens when we don't get the nerds in here on time. They're all probably at work, like they should be. Which I'm going back later on tonight too. I had a day off here, so. But yeah, pinball for me, and like I already mentioned, the one at Magic Elm, where the baseball cards, because that was pretty cool. Because you would hit home runs, and it's kind of like a pinball game, but it's all like not really a pinball, because I don't know. It would be a pinball machine, but it was not like a full blown like your guys' is, like you said about the NASCAR and the Twilight Zone. I like the Addams Family one. That was pretty cool. My dad would always play that one at the shore when we were kids, and I know like he would play a lot of other ones as well. I know the older ones at the shore was like, you know, I remember them.
The Simpsons one is kind of cool.
Yeah, the Simpsons one. Yeah, the Simpsons one was great, along with the arcade game. That was always fun. Always exciting to try to beat Mr. Burns and everybody else in the game. back in the day, and I hope one day, and I don't know if they've done it since, but they used to have it on the 360, in on the Simpsons game in arcade, but I haven't played those games on the Xbox or any of that. The pinball games, like, were they any good? Did you enjoy those back in the day, Nakattack, when you had Xbox? Were you ever a fan of the video game versions of the pinball games?
I never really played. The only one I played was Sonic Spinball.
Sonic Pinball.
That one, I love the level design of Sonic Spinball, but the controls in that game were dog shit. Like, it was very slow response when you hit the button and a plunger would move.
Okay. I kind of do have to lie. Kirby's Pinball was great on the Game Boy. I enjoyed that. I don't remember playing that, Nakattack. Did you ever play that, Kirby's Pinball?
No, I never had Game Boy. Like, a lot of the Nintendo systems, especially in the 16-bit era, I didn't have really access to. I had an original Nintendo, but didn't have a Game Boy, didn't have a Super Nintendo,
Okay.
no Nintendo 64. I was always a Sega Sony guy.
Okay, yeah. I remember you having a PS3, which you still do. So, yeah, you were always a Sony guy. Like, I should have been a Sony guy, and I kind of converted being a Sony guy with the PS5, because I thought it was time. Because, I had a PS2, and a PS1. Then I went to Xbox after the PS2 for some reason. I shouldn't have, because the games that they had on PS2.
Well, it's probably because they came out first. They had a whole year on the PS3.
Yeah, true. That's why, and I don't know. I don't regret it. I think that's why my loving of gaming has shifted more, and then also still is head to head with my love for music. So, but yeah, so that's great. Gaming.
My hot take with the late '90s and early aughts, Sony was the absolute best gaming platform for home consoles in that era.
And I think they still
Nintendo
are.
and Xbox had some good titles, but Sony was just they had so many awesome games in that era.
Yeah, they did.
From PlayStation to PlayStation 2, that was just that was all Sony, definitely.
The SmackDown games were always fun. That was those games, and the Mortal Kombats, and just everything. Gaming is one of the things with pinball, because it is a game that everybody finds enjoyment out of. I think they should, because if you hate pinball, I don't know who you are. I don't know of anyone that I know of that hates the game of pinball. Nakattack, do you?
No, unless you're someone that has chronic migraines, that might be the only thing, and that would excuse you.
Probably. You never know.
But even then, I'd be like, wear these sunglasses, put on some hearing protection, and have at it.
Yeah, totally agree. So let's get back to the movie.
Oh, you know what just popped in my head?
What?
I saw the most meta pinball machine. I saw I played it too. It was a pinball game for Tommy. You know the musical Tommy, the movie?
Yeah.
About the pinball wizard?
Yeah.
And there was a pinball machine about the movie Tommy about the pinball wizard, and that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
It's a fun pinball machine too.
I think I'm trying to think if I've ever seen that.
That's an older machine, but that one was actually pretty good for a retro pinball machine.
I think I did see that one years ago. And I've seen a lot of, because the arcades down at the shore at Ocean City, definitely, okay, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen that one. The Who's Tommy.
And if you haven't seen the Tommy movie, I highly recommend it. It is batshit crazy. It came out around the time when Rocky Horror came out, and they had these really weird musicals in the '70s, like Jesus Christ Superstar. It was around that era when it came out, and it's a bonkers film. You gotta just see it. You wouldn't even believe half the stuff I said was in the movie.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this, I looked up the price of the book that he put out. Have you ever seen that? Have you seen
No.
the price? $400. $400.
Item.
Yeah, it is. I was surprised. I looked it up. I was like, wow, collector's item from the 70s that, like, I don't know if you're
Okay,
ever
so,
gonna.
so what John's talking about? Let's get back in the movie a
Yeah,
little bit. So
sorry.
one of the subplots is Roger, our protagonist, always wanted to be a writer, and that's kind of where his arc goes, where he got divorced from his wife, and she had a nice jab at him when he signed the divorce papers, and she said something like, "You finally wrote something important,"
Mm-hmm.
and that was just like you could just feel the twisting of the knife with that statement. But so he ends up writing this book about pinball, and that's I think I mentioned earlier. That's part of the reason he gets hooked in to the court case
Mm-hmm.
because he was just kind of an expert.
Yep.
And also the other plot of this movie, it's kind of split between Roger doing the pinball thing and Roger forming a relationship with Ellen, I believe her name was.
Ellen. Yep.
Which, and I'm not sure if the way they met really happened, but that seems like so unbelievable that this absolutely gorgeous woman just flat out, just straight up says, "You want to date me?"
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I've never had one of those experiences like that. Like, oh,
I was like, "Oh, I should grow a ridiculously large mustache."
yeah, that mustache was huge, man. Like, I loved her.
This is 70s mustache the movie.
Yes, it is. It is definitely. It's like all the down the lips, and like he could get like all the food he wants, and then she makes you're gonna eat soup with that thing.
Yeah, that was a funny joke. I want to see you eat soup with that thing.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't eat soup, and then he's like, oh, he wants something else's soup. It was kind of like a clean, dirty joke in the end, which was a lot of fun to fun to see in the movie, because honestly, you didn't know how serious this movie was gonna get, or how lighthearted or how deep it would get, and then like the whole relationship with Ellen, it was kind of like, oh, what's gonna happen? Are they gonna like stay together? Or I know they were like having their issues in the movie, but then like in the end, we find out it's a happy ending basically for Roger. As we know, I mean, honestly, this is a like a documentary like slash like a little bit of Hollywood take on it, a little bit of a little bit of monkey business with it.
Back Roger was working for GQ while all this was happening.
Yeah.
I guess GQ at the time was kind of like a regional magazine, just kind of in the New York area, maybe Northeast.
Yeah. Yeah, GQ was not like a well-known, like it was known, but it wasn't that like that popular with the people. And then this happened, and it basically took off. Like with like they were covering the regular stuff they normally cover, like the winter outlook of what to wear, or the newest trends, or the whatever.
This was a little plot point in the movie that John's getting to. The boss of GQ was asking for article ideas, and Roger kind of swung and missed with his first one.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, whatever. How about pinball? Like, you guys know what's going on with pinball in this city?
Yeah.
And the boss was like, all right, this is different. Do it.
Yeah, and if you go and look up GQ, I mean, before they were known as GQ, and then they were Gentleman's Quarterly, and then before that they were Apparel Arts. So they were definitely like all into the clothing aspect of things, because honestly, that's what it was all about.
Want to do a little side tangent on GQ?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I had a subscription to GQ that I got for free. There was some website I saw where if you do a survey, you get a free magazine subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that, and I picked GQ for a year. And maybe it wasn't always like this, but like the way GQ is now, it is literally like this thick, and it's 80% advertisements. And I couldn't fucking stand that. That like I have to flip through like 10 pages of advertisements to get to the next article. And then the other thing I hated too was like all the fashion advice. Like, this magazine is for rich people. Like their budget clothing column is like you can get this budget outfit for $400. I'm like, do you guys even know what the hell budget means in this century? Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I haven't seen GQ.
But with that said, it did have some interesting articles every now and then, like the pinball thing, like back in the 70s. Like every once in a while, they'll throw like something totally outside the fashion realm that's kind of interesting in there. But yeah, just it just irked me that like this magazine is just totally for rich people now.
I don't know. I don't even know who's even on the front cover of the newest one. Let's see. Let's go to the website GQ.com. Timothy Chalamet.
You know, honestly, I got it because a couple of years ago, like I was really starting to pay attention to like the way I looked. Like I was researching. I was like half my clothes don't fit me right, and I was like, I really need to like just kind of look appropriate for my age and my frame. And GQ helped a little bit with that, but like I definitely couldn't afford like the styles.
Yeah.
So, like I used to always buy shirts that were like XL, and I think it's just because like growing up, my parents always bought me like sizes that were way too big because I would grow into them, and it took me a long time to get out of that mindset for myself. And now I'm finally like I'm wearing clothes that fit properly. So,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
I hear you. A while, but I learned.
I hear you. That's a cool thing to learn. I mean, honestly, you gotta have clothes that fit you right and look good on you, so you feel good about yourself as well. Because without that, you're gonna be feeling miserable about yourself and like not like knowing what's wrong mentally or in your mind's eye about certain things.
I wish I knew better. I probably would have got laid more. But, I'm pretty sure I was like a total dweeb. Like, look at this loser. He doesn't know how to dress. He looks way too small in these huge clothes.
I don't know how that would have been different. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that shit. But yeah, like you know my lifestyle. You knew the stories. Come on. And the number of things that we're gonna bring about in an afternoon talk show right now. Oh jeez. But yeah. So this movie covers the whole thing, like the process he had to go through with writing the article and writing like just everything to get his process of how to break down the barrier of the one dude who wasn't going to give him an interview at all. Like, that was crazy. Like, you know, he stormed right into the office. He's like, dude, we can do this. Like, we need to do an interview. Yeah. Why aren't you? And then the guy gives in and gives him the interview.
I really like that the way they portrayed Roger in the film. Mm-hmm. How when push comes to shove, he can step up and make stuff happen. But he's normally kind of hesitant, a little introverted, but when push comes to shove, he can deliver.
Definitely. He can deliver, and he definitely did in this movie. Well, in real life as well.
I also love the bit where he discovered the pinball machine in New York, how it was kind of stashed away in an adult bookstore.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
He would just hang out in the front with the cashier and never go back to the pornos.
Yeah, Ellen was like, and Ellen's like, what's back there? And he's like, I don't know.
He's like, I don't know. I don't want to know.
And they never went back. They never went back in there.
And that.
Go ahead.
Well, because the cops busted it, and he's like, what happened? Why did they bust in? He's like, the pinball machines. Why are they busted in? Yeah. He's like, well, pinball's illegal.
I want to know who told on him. Like, I would have loved to find out who was like, let's call the cops on this damn pinball. Like, go ahead.
Well, it could have just been like Rogers. One of them could have just been walking by and just heard that ping, 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 ping outside.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I think that's the bad thing. Go in. I don't know. That was like a.
It could have been some guy that the cashier threw out because he was jerking off in the corner of the store or something. You know.
Yeah, that could have been it. Yeah, adult bookstore. And I love the guy who played the porn star cashier because he's like so like just like happy when he brought Ellen in and it was just funny, and then it was just like he was just like a homely little dude just hanging out there, and then he's like, and when
also like a guy that just gave like no shits about anything. He was just doing this just because he got paid.
Yeah, like he's like he doesn't even go back in the back. He just sits there and reads a book, like kind of like a security guard would or something. But yeah, like this movie brightens the realm of like some history that I didn't know about, because honestly, like we mentioned earlier, I didn't know the game was illegal for a long period of time, because of the gambling nature of it supposedly. Uh, but yeah, I mean, anything else you want to say, Nakattack? I mean, honestly, I don't have much else to say because I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed how they got to the point, and they had those little stopping points where they brought him back on rhythm of the in the nature of the movie, and like it was cool to see that everything's worked out for Roger. That everything is a-okay after this movie. His sons love pinball. Zachary loved pinball. They all like. Oh, I spoiler alert. Ellen and him get married, and they have 2 sons who are pinball legends as well on their own right. But you guys would know this if you guys watched the movie and then looked at the history of his life, or him up later on. But Nakattack, go ahead. Anything else you want to say about this?
Yeah, just a few things. I was kind of surprised at the structure of the biography telling, how they kind of mimic what they did with that Netflix movie about the Cracked magazine guy.
Yeah, the Mad
They had
magazine?
an older version of Roger occasionally pop up into the past and like sit next to himself, his
Yeah.
younger self, while telling the story. Like I remember when we saw the Crack documentary, we talked about that like a couple years ago. Like I kind of liked that style, but it was fresh then. But with this, it wasn't as fresh. So I was kind of like, okay. Like, is this a plot device we're going to use with docu-flicks now? But I mean, it was fine. I mean, there was some fun meta humor with that too. Like, they would show some scene that would be like specific to a movie, and he'd be like, "What are we doing, guys? That's not how it happened."
Yeah. Like the video game.
Like the showing Ellen how to play pinball scene.
Yeah.
Like, that was funny. I got a legit laugh out of me.
Yeah, like it was like okay, this is gonna be like they're gonna go back in the. This is like okay, they're gonna play pinball. They're gonna get all sexualized, and then they're gonna go back into the back room of the porn store and have sex or some shit. Like, but
well, I'm glad they did that gig, because the whole time I kept thinking of what's that movie, Boys Don't Cry, where Hilary Swank gets like raped on a pinball machine or something in that movie. But I was like, oh my god, don't do this movie.
Yeah, don't do that. That's awful shit. Awful shit. But
I really liked the script for the most part. There were a lot of fun dialogue callbacks, like with Ellen and Rogers saying "I'm still here." Like there was different connotations with that set of dialogue at different situations and a different context, and I like that it called back. He had the same. Roger and Seth had that little moment too with maybe, the word maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe means yes. It means yes.
Yeah.
So I like that. Like the script was tight as far as dialogue goes, but I also think it should have just either focused on Ellen and Roger or the pinball stuff, because I felt like it just kind of, with the 90 minutes, it just kind of split, and there was more I wanted to know about both. But I mean, it wasn't a deal breaker, but I just wish it kind of would have focused more on the pinball side.
Yeah, I mean, there could have been more. I mean, they did like a lot of montage of that with the interviews.
Yeah. I'm gonna look this up, but I'm pretty sure there's like someone did like some podcast with a deep dive on this at some point. I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure there's probably a lot of interesting facts. And also like too, during one of the flashbacks when old Roger was like, so yeah, our villain died 30 years ago. So great story, guys.
Hold on, I lost you for a second. Oh, there you are. I don't know how I lost you, but I got you. Like,
look.
Yeah, it was just a video. For a second, I was on Discord looking at something. And I was like, oh shit, it went away from where it was. But yeah, I mean, those quirks of the movie are great. Like the him being there, kind of like like the Cracked magazine one that we watched with Will Forte and them. Or was it Will Forte? Or is yeah.
He was probably in it. I don't remember.
Yeah, Martin Mule. Not Martin Mule. Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. But yeah, like it was a good movie. It could have been a little longer on certain things, with how
But I
the
love that it was 90 minutes. With
yeah.
that said, I like I miss the 90-minute movie. I talk about this a lot, but
Well, our next one, which we'll talk about here in a second, which uh, I was like gonna watch another different one, but he doesn't have Hulu, so we are gonna go with one that's on Tubi that we haven't watched yet, but I've watched it and I enjoy it. It's another comedy. It's from 2018 and it is exactly a minute 30. All right, not a minute 30, an hour 30. So that's perfect. Just an hour and 30 squeezed into greatness. So let's see if you enjoy this, but we'll talk about it here in a second. After we give our final uh, rating of Pinball, the man who saved the game. Nakattack, what is your final rating of Pinball, the man who saved the game?
I give it 3.5 out of 5. I was entertained. I did not hate watching it. If it was on TV, I would watch it through to a commercial break, and it could have been better. But I really enjoyed what it was, and I'm glad it enlightened me to this weird little thing that happened in history in the United States. So I'm kind of interested to know more about the story of the banning of pinball.
Yeah. You're right there a little bit with me. I would give it a 4. I would watch it through, like, I would come back to it after commercial break, but I would flip the channel, though, during commercial break, and maybe come back and maybe catch the end of it. You know? Because it's like, everything that's happening. You know about it now. You know about the illegalization of pinball in America back in the 30s, throughout the 70s, in New York and Chicago. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate watching it. I watched it like twice almost. Like I watched it once, and then I woke up and I turned it off because I was like misplaced where I was because I fell asleep to it because I was tired. But it was a solid movie, and if you wanted to know about this historical like conundrum that the history of the world went through in these cities about pinball, watch this movie. This is a perfect example of a docu-comedy, but also a true story, and it was to the point. It did miss a little bit, but if you added a little bit more, it would have added a little bit more to the movie that you didn't need. But you are set off in the right direction of where, okay, so these are the talking points of the history of why the pinball game was legalized or illegal back in the day. Now we can go research it and say, hey, what else happened? Why was this? We can all look into it, in different aspects of the history of pinball and all that. So, I'm sorry I rambled on there, but I was getting to a point, Nakattack. So, Nakattack, we already know that our movie's coming up after this one, correct? Is the sequels.
We're starting, June, baby.
We're starting our sequels, right? At the end of this movie, after this movie, Nakattack gets to choose the first sequel. I already have a couple in my mind that we will watch that are on Tubi, and some of them are on Paramount, I think. I don't know. I have to figure that out. I think one's on Tubi, a couple's on Tubi. I don't know. We have to look it all up. I have to write it down. But Nakattack gets the first one. I get the next one after that. But our first movie before the summer of sequels is going to be a comedy from 2018 that I thoroughly thought was funny because honestly it brings puppets and murder and Melissa McCarthy to our TV screens this time in The Happy Time Murders. And it's on Tubi. So if you guys have not seen The Happy Time Murders, it's rated R, it's not safe for kids, so Nakattack, you have to watch it in your first little free time with Lauren.
I know what that is now. You mentioned the puppets. Now I know what that is. Okay, I know what that is now. I haven't seen it. I know what that is now.
Are you excited for it, or are you not excited for it? Is that
I'm interested in seeing it.
Okay, that's an interesting in seeing it face. Okay, I've seen it because Nakattack, my wife and I love Love weird comedies and stupid shit, and definitely this is a weird comedy and stupid shit all at the same time. But guys, if you haven't seen Happy Time Runners, go get it. It's on Tubi. It's free to watch. So that's our next movie. But then after that, we got sequels, and Nakattack has the first one, then I do. So we don't know yet what we're going for. But Nakattack will surprise us in 2 weeks, guys. In 2 weeks on May. Is it May 31st? Is there 31st in May? Yes, on May 31st. There's on May 31st will be the surprise announcement.
Last day of the month.
Last day of the month. Nakattack will tell us what movie he chooses in 2 weeks. And then after that, the 14th will be my pick. Because that's our first episode of June. And then 28th will be Nakattack's second pick of that. But we already announced like one of them that I was gonna do, and I think we're still gonna do it because I watched the first one, and I think it would be great to watch the second one because I've heard good things about it. But we're not gonna say it now. Just think about it, guys. Just think about it. If you've watched the past episodes, you know what we talked about. But Nakattack, before we rate out to our boy Nelson Bullock, who's over there playing some NCAA, which I'll be back here in about half an hour to play, or maybe less. All depends on how long it takes me to get ready over here. But Nakattack, go ahead and tell your friends, our listeners, what's anything else you want to say to the people out there?
Don't drink milk right now. Get almond milk or something because there's some bird flu shit going on.
Ooh.
And it's looking like it's gonna be kind of scary.
Oh no. Okay, I just had some cereal with milk. Damn it. Thanks, Nakattack. I'm gonna die. I'm sorry. No, I'm not gonna die. Don't worry. I'll be safe. I'll throw it away. Just for you, Nakattack. But go follow him, Nick.Kaler on Blue Sky. Right? Nick.Kaler on...
I changed my bold to Nakattack, so that's front and center now.
Oh, Blue Sky? Okay, so Blue Sky is Nakattack. So you did change it. I'm sorry. You had it as something else, like I just said, your full name, because that's
it said. Well, no, my tag itself is my full name, but the bold, the header, I changed that to Nakattack.
Oh, okay. I haven't been on Blue Sky. I didn't promote this on Blue Sky this week, unfortunately. And I don't really have.
You still on Twitter?
I'm on both.
God, Twitter is I can't even. It is such a nightmare on Twitter. Like it's just ads. It is such a shit show.
Yeah, I agree. But it happens. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all those socials, guys. You know where to find me. Also, in about an hour, if I'm still live and you don't like what you see in my college football, go ahead and go over to Man Cave Hawkeye, a good friend of the channel. And also, I know he's excited for the new game. And just like the rest of us, college football will be here July 16th for sure on our channel and everyone else's. But Nakattack, love you, my friend. Thank you for hanging out with us again today on our glorious show known as Tight Spots Lounge. Always a pleasure. And go get more stuff down around the house and send my love to the family, all right?
Yeah.
All right, and everybody, we're going to go over to Nelson Bullock right now. So everybody, love you all. Peace out. Much love. See you next time. That was fun.
Yeah, I like doing this when I'm not ready to fall asleep halfway through.
Me too. Me too. But hey, Nakattack, you have a good day, and I'll talk to you later, alright?